Welcome to Black Girls Can Talk, the podcast where we dive into real, unfiltered conversations about what it means to be a Black woman in today's world. I'm your host, Dr. DaJaneil McCree, founder of Black Girls Can Talk. And here, we're creating a space where we can unpack everything from culture and beauty trends to mental health and the joys and challenges of Black womanhood. Whether you're here for the tea or looking for deep discussions, you're in the right place. So grab your seat at the table and let's get into it. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Can Talk. Today, we're talking about cultural expectations. The world tells us to be strong, to be quiet, and to be everything for everyone except for us. And today, we're flipping that script. So I always like to state this quote from Malcolm X anytime I'm talking about a Black woman because I think it's just so fitting. He says, the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. And I feel like second to us, and maybe in some cases above us, are Black men. I personally consider Black men to be more disrespected than us, but we're not here to talk about that today, okay? Black men deserve to hold their own space, and we can talk about that at a later date. But today, we're going to talk about us as Black women. Being a Black woman is a beautiful and powerful experience, but let's keep it real. It comes with a lot of challenges as well. There are a lot of expectations placed on us by society as well as ourselves that continue to weigh us down every day. So let's get into the angry Black woman stereotype. Now, I personally do not agree with this. However, I do use it in my research as well because unfortunately it is something that we are known for. We are known for our strength. We are known for our resilience. We are known for being strong, right? Unfortunately, sometimes that comes across as angry. And I've said it before, and even in the book I speak to, has anyone ever thought about maybe we're not angry, instead maybe we're hurt? Maybe we're loud because we feel like we have to scream and shout to get our voices heard. I don't think that gets taken into consideration when we're talking about the angry Black woman. Or maybe let's just sit back and consider for a second, maybe you did something to upset me and I have the right to be angry. I think that gets missed in the conversation a lot of time. People only see the outcome without thinking about what all happened prior to that for this result to come. So talking a little bit about the disrespect aspect. So we are disrespected by our men. We are disrespected in all types of spaces. In healthcare, when you think about the mortality rates, Black women are at the highest. There are just a lot of different ways that we just unfortunately are unheard. Again, I'm always going to bring it back to healthcare because I am a healthcare disparities researcher. My background and my degrees are in health education. I often think of times where we go to the doctor and we aren't being listened to. We may know our bodies more than anyone other than God himself. And a lot of times we try to talk about what's going on with us and we are either given the same script that everyone else with these issues are given, or we're being ignored. I've often heard that Black women are dramatic. And while in some cases, me myself, I can attest to being a drama queen. I am dramatic for no reason. I think it's a genetic thing at this point because all of my sisters are the very same way. Not the point. While we can be dramatic, while anyone, let's be clear, can be dramatic, when it comes to certain things like health, I don't think that word should ever be placed in that conversation. Dramatic should not be one of the things that we identify Black women with as it relates to seeking and receiving health care. So in my work as a health disparities researcher, we always talk about this concept of intersectionality. And what that means, more simply put, is that we have all of these identities that intersect, right? So there lies the concept of intersectionality. So here in the book, I speak to having multiply marginalized identities. We are Black, we are woman, and depending on how you identify, that can be an addition to those marginalized identities, right? So some things that are experienced at higher rates as Black women, stress. We also experience increased discrimination and inequalities in healthcare services. Y'all know I'm always talk about that. So maybe not every day, but most days we endure racism, sexism, classism, and just about every other ism you can think of. I won't keep reading out the book. Just go ahead and buy it. Make sure you get your copy today. But there are so many things that impact us as Black women that other people simply just cannot understand. Let's talk about the double standard. So when our counterparts, i.e. white women, let's just say they're not considered angry, right? They're looked at as being assertive or standing on business, right? Versus us, because we have an attitude problem, because we said it in a certain way, because we maybe rolled our neck and rolled our eyes, we're seen as angry. And that double standard is just absurd because we are not the only race or people that can get loud, that can have an attitude, that have outbursts, right? We're not the only ones who outwardly express ourselves, right? So how is it that we are the only ones that have this stereotype on us? Now the next stereotype, I spoke about the strong Black woman, right? Since the beginning time, before you and I were even born, Black women were seen as strong. You'll see old pictures or paintings with Black women carrying a basket on their head, a baby on their back. And since that time, we've been seen as strong. While we are strong, we are also people. We also cry. We also have times where we can't show up for everyone else, but we're expected to. And a lot of those expectations are not outward or external. They're put on us by our own families, our own, if we're in a relationship, our husband, our, you know what I mean? They are internal to our race most times. So culturally, we are expected to do or be or not be certain things, whereas other women among other races are not expected the same of. A lot of people don't realize that when we're being strong, most times that is a result of emotional suppression. So we're suppressing our emotions and feelings, right, to be there for others. And that in itself has an impact on our mental health. We don't take self-care days, right? Because we feel like we have to do and have to be there for everyone else when we deserve to just take a moment and take a breath and to realize that we're not always strong and we don't always have to be. It's okay to not have it today. It's okay to say, you know what? I don't have the capacity. That is my favorite. Anybody that knows me knows I will tell somebody in a heartbeat, I do not have the capacity for that. I even have friends that when they call me or even if they text me, they first ask, do you have the capacity? And that's something my best friend and I started a while ago. And we would even be like, no, you go first. No, you go first. Okay, is it my turn? Like, just to allow ourselves to give the other the space and the time that they need to express themselves and get whatever it is off their chest, right? My very favorite thing to do, on top of letting people know whether or not I have the capacity, is to set boundaries. I was one of those people who felt like if someone invited me somewhere, I had to be there because they wanted me there, right? When I found out later in life or kind of realized like, no, you probably just want me to turn your party up. Like, you want me there because I'm fun, not because you are in love with me. In a lot of cases, it was because people really enjoyed me and my presence. But that was an expectation to show up, to be fun, to be all of these things that you're used to me being when maybe I'm going through something internally. Maybe I'm just not having a good day, but I was expected to show up in a certain way. So I started setting boundaries. And on one hand, I had to, right? Because I was in my PhD program. I've been in school my entire life. So I was always that person. I remember in undergrad, my friends were like, oh, we're going to go to the party. And I'm like, I'll see you when you get back. I'm going to be here studying biology. Thank you. Or like they would be having fun in the dorms and I'm just with my anatomy and physiology book, like not giving a care in the world. And that has always been me. So a lot of people who've seen me as this fun person and always see me out. I remember someone said to me before, like, you're always outside. And I'm always getting 4.0s as well. Let's be very clear about that. Because for me, my work came first. And what mattered, I took care of first. So I did have the room to go out, to spend time with friends and X, Y, and Z. Like for my dissertation, I wrote chapter 5 in Europe because self-care. Okay, because self-care. But to the outward world, it was like, oh, she doesn't have a job. She's always, and let's be clear, I was working as well. It wasn't your business to know how I was processing, how I was dealing with what I was going through, right? And some of that led me to create those boundaries. Actually, I can't come to that party because one, I don't want to. One, I don't want to. But B, because I don't feel like it's serving me to be there, right? You're getting something out of me being there. You're getting a fun person. You're getting the life of the party. You're getting all of these things, but it's draining me. It's draining me to be that, especially, you know, I'm at a party, but I'm thinking about my data analyses. I'm thinking about writing this paper. I'm thinking about this article that needs to be submitted. I'm thinking about all of the things that are internally stopping me from having fun, but outwardly you're seeing this fun person. So you think that I'm having a blast, but it's like, I want to rush home and just do homework. So I started to set boundaries in my PhD program that I carry on today in my professional space. In my training after receiving my doctorates, I remember I had very, very strong boundaries. I didn't work after 5. I don't answer emails or work before 9. And I remember being told, like, that's not going to work in a profession. Like, once I got into a professorship, once I got into the role that I'm currently in, and why wouldn't it? Because what people don't understand is that you get to set your own rules. You get to create those boundaries, and you also get to stand on them. So whatever I choose to do outside of those boundaries is because I decided to, and not because someone else is making me or requiring me of that. I am never going to do something that's outside of my boundaries that I don't have the capacity for. Never. No one can pay me. There's nothing that's going to be that great of a reward to neglect myself. So there's nothing that anyone can say or do to get me to do something that I don't want to do. And that came with time. That came with understanding what burnout looks like, understanding that, you know, again, I am drained because I decided to give back to someone else. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So I was pouring from an empty cup and left with nothing at the end of the day. And it just doesn't work like that. And it shouldn't have to. So how do we redefine strength and cultural freedom? It starts with realizing strength does not mean you have to carry everything on your back. Strength is knowing when to put it down. On a daily basis, we carry so many things. But it's okay to put that thing down over here. Especially if you're picking up other things, you have to learn what to let go of and what to put down. You cannot continue to pick up to where you're so weighed down that you break, that you fall apart, right? That is not healthy for you emotionally, for you mentally, for you physically. Let's understand that it's all connected, right? It's all connected. All of those things are influencing other factors of your health. They just are. And so you never want to be in a space where you are mentally unwell, but everyone else around you is doing well. It doesn't even make sense. How can you even be in a circle where you're the only outlier? You're the only one who doesn't feel the same way as everybody else. You're the only one that's not having fun. You're the only one. And people, let's be clear, people don't want to be around someone like that. So you have to make sure that you are divvying up those tasks. You are divvying up the things that you are taking on so that you can be free, so that you can have that weight lifted off of you and be able to take on whatever it is that you truly need to or should be taking care of and paying attention to, not the things that other people are asking you to. If you're already busy and you work 50 hours a week, maybe don't cook for that cookout that your family is having. Maybe don't make the macaroni and cheese, okay? Say no. Someone else in the family can cook it, and if they can't, purchase it. You know, we have to understand the convenience of certain things, right? So sometimes we don't want to pay, but a lot of times you have to pay for convenience, and especially if it's going to be something that takes a load off of your plate. So look at doing things that will relieve some of your stress, not things that will add to it. I love this quote, and I don't even remember writing this, but it says, "My hope is for Black women to have their own agency, voice their opinions, ask questions, and challenge situations that make them feel uncomfortable. Why do we have to sit and be quiet? We don't. So it's time again to change that narrative. For my allies, if you are not Black and you are watching this podcast or you have read the book and you're wondering, how can you be of support in these type of situations? Start with educating yourself. I don't mean just going on the internet and reading a bunch of articles, although that is where I start as a researcher. That's exactly where my brain goes. But a lot of times when I want to know something about someone or a specific culture, I'll go to someone directly within that culture. Now, you have to make sure that you are being culturally sensitive when you're asking certain things. But maybe you have someone that you're close with in the workplace or someone who you can ask these questions to. Nowadays, we have TikTok. And you can open it up with saying, maybe not saying not to offend anyone because people are already on the defense. But I have seen a lot of women who do not look like me get on TikTok and first give us our flowers and second ask a question and even say like, I'm not here to offend you. I really genuinely want to know. And there have been positive responses. So thankfully we live in a world where people are more open to talking about their experiences and educating people. Now, there are some things that we will still gatekeep because it's none of your business. But simple questions like, what do I do in this situation? How can I go about this? We will answer those. And we love, in the club, we all fam. We love our friends on TikTok. So be sure that you're in an environment or talking with someone where you feel safe enough to ask the questions. I want to leave you all with this. It's a quote from the book. We are more than what the world expects us to be. We are who we choose to be. Keep speaking up, keep being bold, and keep creating your own narrative. Until next time, love y'all. That's a wrap on today's episode of Black Girls Can Talk. I hope you felt heard, empowered, and inspired by today's conversation. If you love what you heard, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your girls. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at blackgirls_can talk to stay updated on future episodes and join the conversation online. Got something you want us to talk about or want to be a guest on our show? Hit us up on social media or visit our website at blackgirlscantalk.com. Thank you for listening, and remember, Black girls can talk, and we've got a lot to say. Until next time, stay powerful.